Hey everyone, how's it going? Rudros here, and we are ready for the last match of the Cure Series semifinals. On the left, we have HoodsClaw. Alex taking on SamPrime himself on the right side. And I believe I featured, both of these men have been on my stream rather recently as far as casting their matches. I even got to play Sam live, which was kind of cool. Apologies in advance. So I actually just competed in the RVA tournament a little bit before this. I haven't really had a chance to eat a whole lot, so I'm eating these delicious kind of like pepper jack filled pretzel bites. I will try not to talk with my mouth full, but maybe I'll be taking a few more breaks than normal to get some of these in. So you'll have to indulge me for that. Anyway, I'm assuming HoodsClaw is going first. Looks like he drew. If I remember correctly, gosh, what did he play? I know he played Twins, and then his other deck, was it Sky Pirates or was it something else? I don't remember. We'll obviously see very, very shortly here. Maybe while he's deciding, I'll get another one of these delicious little pretzel bites. And oh, come on, HoodsClaw, you keep me with bated breath. Well, whatever. We'll see what he does. Okay, he's gonna pitch. So this is Twins. Pitch Palom, and I believe that is a Remora. Going to play Sarah. Probably going to fetch Princess Sarah. That's what I figured. He can set that up for fire. He can just go ham. I know one of Sam's deck is Avalanche. Can't remember what his second deck was. Was it also Sky Pirates? Or was it Mill? I think it was Mill. Yeah, that's right, because he did Mill against Muhammad and the Samurais. So he'll be on Avalanche. And also, and we'll see if I do a good job of this or not, I'm going to try to make my casting a little new player friendly this time. Normally I kind of just, I guess I cast as if I assume you know what the effects are, but I'll try to explain them a bit. So Sam went ahead and pitched a Cloud and a Vigali backup. Put down Kolka. Kolka lets him search out an Earth Forward from his deck. I honestly assumed he was going to grab Barrett, but he grabbed Wedge. To me, that implies he probably has Barrett in his hand. And since this is Avalanche, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go ham. Yep, there's Noctis. Noctis is a nice little threat on the board, especially when Barrett and the Hasters come down. Noctis, anytime a party forms and attacks, he'll get one of 5 effects. If a party of 3 or more form, he gets 2 of the 5 effects. I believe he can deal 8,000 damage, draw a card, dull freeze a character, break a monster, and I think you can give Noctis haste. I believe those are the 5 effects. So we'll probably play down Princess Sarah. Yep. When Princess Sarah enters, you can change her element from light to anything else. She's a really nice color fixer. That's why the Princess Sarah combo is so popular. I'm assuming he picked fire. Maybe he picked water because he just played Zaz by pitching Terra and... Can't quite tell what he pitched with the Terra. Maybe an Atomos. And this lets him search out any fire summon. He's going to choose Amaterasu. That'll let him cancel an auto ability and deal it 8,000 damage if it's a forward. Passing back to Sam at this point. No immediate Twins action, but Amaterasu is very good against the Cloud. Won't do a whole lot against the Barrett. In theory, you could use it on one of the Avalanche members as well. So Sam is going to pitch Brynhilder and Tifa. I'm assuming this is going to be for Barrett. Yep. And now, if he doesn't have an Avalanche operative in hand, he can go ahead and swap one from his hand for Wedge. Barrett has an action ability that says discard a card, and then you get back an Avalanche operative from the break zone to your hand. So, even though it's technically discard and then draw, I think of it as a swap. If he wants to, Barrett does give all the Avalanche operatives haste, so he could get that Wedge, and he could just go right in with a Noctis party attack. He could break that Sarah or that Zaz. Nope, he's not going to opt to do that. Just going to swing in with Noctis. Hits a Kolka on damage for HoodsClaw. Probably pass after that. All right, interesting turn of events here as I catch up from eating my food. So, HoodsClaw discarded Iridia to play Iridia. Now, normally she would gain 2 counters anytime a 4 character enters the field, but Sam actually dumped his hand to cast Amaterasu to cancel that ability. Iridia will not die to the 8,000 damage from Amaterasu because she has protection from summons and ability damage. And then he went ahead and HoodsClaw tapped his 3 backups, played down Lenora, which let him search out, I believe he got Porum from his deck. Interesting Sam did that. I guess he was a little worried that he's expecting a follow-up from the Iridia and he doesn't want her to be able to cast Amaterasu for free. It's got to feel a little bad pitching Amaterasu and not killing the forward, but... It does prevent HoodsClaw with responding with his own Amaterasu for free, which has got to be pretty nice. So here comes our first party attack. Oh, we're doing all three. Interesting. So we're going to get 2 triggers from Noctis, and we're going to get the Wedge one as well. So Wedge can go ahead and break either the Sarah or the Zaz backup. If he made that Princess Sarah water, breaking the Zaz is really, really strong because it'll lock him out of fire CP from his backup line. So hopefully he made that Princess Sarah fire. And then he'll declare his Noctis effects. Looks like he opted to dull freeze the Princess Sarah, so maybe she was fire anyway. And I think he drew a card as well. So the Wedge effect broke the Zaz backup. It breaks a dull character of 4 or more. And then Noctis opted to draw a card as well as dull freeze the Princess Sarah. Hit a Yuzuki into damage. Sam still has 2 cards in hand. He's in a pretty good spot right now, all things considered, with Avalanche. Yeah, most likely this Porum's going to come down this turn. Rydia's going to have enough counters. She can cast Amaterasu for free, so Sam can't really cast Cloud. However, with the party abilities he has with Noctis, and the thing is, too, if he dulls that Sarah, you're just going to have Wedge take out another backup, and you're going to slowly be draining your resources. Now, of course, the problem is that Palom and Porum come down, but again, he has Noctis to deal with them. Although, yeah, Porum can just blank the Noctis before he goes into combat, so maybe he doesn't have as much to deal with them. Because if Palom or Porum get huge, then I think Avalanche is going to run into trouble, so he does have to deal with them before it gets to that point. Pitching Kusith, or no, we're casting Kusith for free off of Rydia. I wonder if we're going to get back Palom. No, we got back the Zaz. Interesting. Porum is also a 4 character, so it increases Rydia's counter to 4. There's Palom, will increase the counter to 6. So Rydia can once per turn cast a summon for free based on her counter cost. So for example, she has 6 on her, so any summon that costs 6 or less, Rydia can cast that for free once per turn. She wouldn't be able to cast 8 or higher, of course, until her counters get up there. Rydia is going to go ahead and swing in for a point of damage. Assuming Sam doesn't have a response to this unless he has Brynhildr in hand. There's a Cloud. Man, it would have felt real bad to hit Brynhildr on that. He probably should have waited before he put the twins out, honestly. But I think he wanted to... Well, no, he could have cast the Kusith for free. He's going to use the Barret effect, which Sam can do on his turn. So he swapped out the Kolka in his hand for a Tifa. The twins will get 2 counters of their own. For every counter they have, they gain 1,000 attack power. And they get a counter at the end of each turn for every apprentice mage, and they're both apprentice mages, so they boost each other up. Porum can once per turn pay nothing to make a 5 cost or less lose its abilities. Palom can hit any forward for 2,000 power. Once they get 3 counters, those improve. The 2,000 becomes 8,000 damage, and then Porum, not only does it blank the 5 cost, it reduces its power to 1,000. So here comes Jesse. Jesse's going to have haste as well. We're going to have a lot of triggers. He can play the Cloud for free. It's going to get Amaterasu'd for sure, but you need to get that Amaterasu out of his hand as well, so maybe that's what you do. And, well, again, no. Presumably, Noctis is going to get turned off by Porum. Because I was going to say, you could have Noctis just shoot one of these guys for, 8,000 before they get out of hand, but presumably Porum is just going to blank him. All right, so we went for a party attack. I'm assuming the Noctis was turned invisible. Wedge did break the Sarah backup. Ooh, and we hit Amaterasu into damage. HoodsClaw would have really wanted to see that. It looks like we Amaterasu'd the Jesse's effect. Jesse can either play a Cloud for free or search one out. Now, he does have an open window to play Cloud, especially seeing that other Amaterasu, although I don't think he has enough. Yeah, he doesn't have enough in hand currently to do it, but it's really not a big deal. He can, again, swap back for the Jesse anytime using the Barret's ability. There's Lenora, little burst help. We're going to go fetch ourselves another copy of Palom or Porum. So this next turn is going to be very crucial because I don't think Sam has a way to get rid of Palom or Porum, so they will be in their powered up state. However, if he pushes him to 5 damage, which he can absolutely do with Barret right now, then he does also put HoodsClaw in a position where he has to be able to answer these constant threats that he's pushing out. Ooh, a Brynhildr. I don't think that matters. So what Brynhildr will do on a burst is it deals 5,000 damage to a forward. Actually, that will matter if we haven't used Palom's ability yet. Because when that forward dies, he gets to draw a card. So what he can do, 5,000 to Noctis, and he can have the Palom finish it off, hit it for 2,000, and then he'll go draw cards. That was really beneficial for him. And Sam's probably going to pass turn. Yep, okay. Time for a snack break. All right, HoodsClaw discards Tyro, taps 2 for Lakshmi. Really good move by him. Sam attempts to swap one of the cards out in his hand for one of the ones from the break zone. However, he does cast Mist Dragon for free off of Rydia. Just completely junks that break zone. Oh, and is Sam just going to scoop off of that? Oh, man. Wow. I mean, I kind of can't blame him. Like, it was pretty apparent with the Lakshmi. HoodsClaw was just going to sit on a wall behind the Twins. The Twins would have been able to remove at least one forward every turn. Rydia can then cast summons for free. Lakshmi draws him a card at the end of the turn. So he would have been happy to sit there, just draw his cards, and then go. Sam recognizing basically that he had him to 5 or 4 damage, however high he got him, and he had to push through then. And the moment that break zone was gone, he was just out of options. So a bit unfortunate. I wonder if Sam should have attempted to play it out and just seen, but again, maybe he also knows that there's just nothing in his deck that's going to cleanly answer the Twins at that point, especially when he loses his entire break zone, which is what Barrett lets him do. So on to game 2. And we are ready with game 2. HoodsClaw, of course, switching to his Sky Pirates deck. Discards Bismarck. There's Philo. Old reliable Philo. There she is on turn 1. And also pitching a Typhon for Fran. So now he's set. He's got water and wind CP. He's ready to play Yvonne on the next turn. I couldn't tell if Sam switched to his mill deck or if he did. Okay, so I see the Leviathan, so he did switch to his mill deck. Interesting, he didn't want to try Avalanche against this. If he wins this, he is going to have to run Avalanche against it eventually, but maybe he just wanted to make sure he had a shot to play both decks. Sam will do a little tit for tat, pitch a Leviathan as well as a, Fanfrit the Darkening Cloud, play Ico as well as Yuna. Technically on entry, that Ico lets him, I think, search for a summon and put it in his break zone, but it is optional, so he opted not to do it. He went ahead and put down Tamaj on HoodsClaw's turn, and he goes ahead and passes back. He's, on Sky Pirates, he's happy to build up his deck and wait. See, this match is going to be kind of interesting. I haven't seen this matchup before. Sam's going to go ahead and put down Sarah, pitches the Shantoto. He's on pure water backups right now. He can search out a Princess. Can probably grab Sarah Mobius. Lena maybe if he runs that. Princess Sarah, of course. This will let him get his Earth CP, I'm assuming. Oops, a few of the cards fell out of the deck there. And yeah, this will be an interesting matchup because neither of these decks are technically in a rush to do anything. They're both you could say, normally someone's going to be the aggressor, someone's going to be the control player. But again, one of Sam's win conditions is you running out of cards. And if you're playing Pinello and you're drawing cards, then you're just feeding right into his win condition. So possibly if it gets to that point with HoodsClaw, he may consider actually not drawing with the Pinello just to not speed along what Sam wants him to do. But again, Sky Pirates, they want to take the time and build their backups up. They're not trying to, rush you out and beat you down. So that is, I believe that's Murn. I don't think he searched anything. So yeah, 2 CP, right? Or she only costs 1. She get reduced by Fran? I'm not 100% sure. I think she's a 2-cost backup, but looks like he only dulled 1 for her. But she may... I don't 100% know what her text reads. She might be cheaper if Fran's on the field. Or maybe something else happened that I didn't see. I don't know. Sam's going to go ahead and pull up his deck list. And HoodsClaw most likely is checking Sam's deck list as well. Yeah, this will be very interesting. You would think that at some point, Sky Pirates is going to have to become, not aggressive, but again, if one of them is forced into the aggressor role versus the controlling role, if that really comes up in this match, presumably it would be Sky Pirates, because again, Mill wants to just sit back and let you run out of cards. Princess Sarah is going to presumably become the Earth element, so that Sam has access to his Earth CP, but you never know. Sam has a very different way of playing from most people, so maybe he's got a plan if he made her water, but I would assume it's Earth. Now, he leaves 2 backups up, which is nice because Yuna reduces the cost of water summons by 1, so he can cast cards like 3-cost Famfrit or 3-cost Atomos off of the Ico and the Yuna, so that's got to be in a pretty good position. So HoodsClaw has to think about that, because if he attempts to put down a Vaughn here, I mean, he'll still get the Vaughn's effect, but he will lose the Vaughn before it can be protected. Unless we have kites. That will help. And is this going to be Vaughn? Am I going to see 2 pitch from hand? There is Pinello. Balthier. Okay, so Balthier is going to attempt to get Pinello back from the break zone. See if Sam lets it resolve. He's going to say, wait. Before you do that, let's go ahead and cast a Tomos. So what that means is that HoodsClaw will have to select one of the forwards he controls and put it into the break zone. And there's no way to dodge that. He's going to have to do it. So question is, will he do it? Sam saying, okay, who do you want to lose, that Balthier, or do you want to lose that Kites? I don't actually know who the right choice is here. Balthier's so valuable with his action ability, but I mean, so is Kites, so I'm not sure. You could, in theory, Kites the Balthier. You could actually Kites the Balthier right now, and that would allow you to dodge it, because when it resolved, there wouldn't be a forward left on the board. Both of them would have been removed from the game. Kite says select a job, Sky Pirate you control, remove it from the game, and play it back onto the field at the end of the turn. So when the Atomos resolve, there wouldn't be anything on there. Nope, he's just going to let Kites go to the Atomos. Pinello will come out. I don't know if that would have been the right play or not. Because again, he does have a way to get back Kites with Balthier, so it's hardly like he'll ever see him again. I'm sure Sam is anxious to do some Mind Flayer shenanigans, going to pay water and presumably earth. Oh no, is she lightning? Well, he must have made her lightning. Okay. So water, lightning, Thunder Drake lets him break a 2-cost, a forward, I believe, of 2 cost or more when he enters the field. So he's going to choose Pinello, and then, oh man. So it looks like HoodsClaw responded with Pinello's action ability, and he chose to draw a card with her, and he may have legit drawn into Chocobo, which lets him bounce Pinello back to his hand, which means she's going to avoid the Thunder Drake. If he legit just top decked that feels really good. So he'll bounce Pinello back to his hand, the Thunder Drake will fizzle, and then he'll draw a card. However, Sam's like, all right, well, you're not getting away scotch-free. He'll play a Tomos. Balthier is forced to go to the break zone because, again, it's the only forward he's got left, and presumably he's going to pass there. Really nice back and forth sequence there. I was like, well, I'm going to do this. So yeah, well, I'm going to do this. Well, then I'm going to do this. I doubt their voices got sillier as they do it, but that would be pretty funny, especially because from what I know of both of these gentlemen, they're both, they're very serious and they talk in a very straightforward manner. So it'd be kind of funny if they were just, no, that's me. I'm the goofy one. Okay. I'm going to pitch a Tomage. Put out Y'shtola. Here comes the Vaughn. Interesting. We'll see if Sam has a response to this. Even if he does, he can technically break the Y'shtola to cancel it. Looks like Sam's going to let it resolve. We'll get Kites. So what Vaughn does when he enters the field, you can search your deck for a Sky Pirate of cost 2 or less, and then you play it right to the field. Then you reactivate all of your backups, which means this Kites is going to easily be able to come down off of the reactivated backups. And then Vaughn also says anytime you choose a Sky Pirate while Vaughn is on the field, you get to activate 2 backups, which leads to some shenanigans. There's the Kites. There's Pinello. Pinello has an action ability that costs 5 initially, but gets reduced by 1 for every other Sky Pirate you control. So it looks like currently he controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So currently Pinello can do it for free. She can either reduce a forward's power by 3,000, she can prevent a Sky Pirate forward from being chosen by abilities, or she can draw a card. And she can do that once every turn. Your turn, their turn, my turn, his turn, her turn, whoever's turn. We'll put out Porum. Porum's a very small body on her own, but when she dies, she'll get to pull back a summon from the break zone, which is really nice. Probably looking to grab back one of those Atomos. So Sky Pirates is starting to get a lead, though. Man, I was kind of hoping Sam really needs to do more milling action if he wants to get this to a 3rd game. Or he just needs a better way to control the board. That Y'shtola makes it tricky, too. He can't do any of his big board wipes like Titan, like Hecaton Kyre, like Shantoto. Here comes Typhon. Presumably, he's just going to, it's going to sneeze that Porum away. Oh, boy. Goes Porum. Sam goes ahead and puts it face up because he's like, hey, we all know where it is. I find that very interesting about Sam as a player, that when he searches out a card or he puts one in deck like that's coming up shortly, he always plays them face up. You're not required to do that, but presumably it's just kind of that gentleman's agreement of like, hey, we know what it is, as opposed to us keeping count. Why don't I just make it very obvious? They'll do that in Magic the Gathering Arena, that game online. It'll, if you search a card out, it'll actually keep it revealed to your opponent, because it's like, hey, you saw them search this out, so instead of having to remember you saw it, I'll just make it easy for you. HoodsClaw move to combat, play Pinello. Pinello's going to go in. Our first point of damage is Shantoto. I think you would have liked to have seen that, although again, with the Y'shtola would have made it difficult. There's one of those beautiful full art Mind Flayers. Could have been a really good one as well. Potentially bad, though, depending on what we get. Hecaton Kyre, man. 3 good cards in a row. Shantoto board wipe, Hecaton Kyre board wipe, and the Mind Flayer, steal potential. Oof. HoodsClaw is just all gas, no brakes. Here's Althea. He's going to reactivate one of his backups. He's at full 5 backups. Man, oh man, Sam is in a world of hurt. He needs not only a board wipe, he needs something to deal with Y'shtola. He could cast something like Exodus. There's the Porum, so he drew back into the Porum. He could cast Exodus. Again, he has to cast some summon that would threaten the Y'shtola, get her to die, and then follow it up with the Shantoto. See, cards like Kites make it tricky, though, because you have to give us so much. Okay, so first he's going to start with the Famfrit. Typhon is currently a forward as well, too, so HoodsClaw has its dealer's choice over there. You probably get rid of the Typhon, I think. Yeah, it's done its job. He's got big Famfrit. He's going to pitch both of those. Tap 1, cast big Famfrit. Presumably, Y'shtola is going to cancel this. So what big Famfrit would require him to do is select 2 of his forwards and put them in the break zone. But yeah, why select 2 when you can just have Y'shtola cancel it and select 1? Now Sam's got a board wipe. Now's the time to use it, but I think that cost him pretty much everything he could to do that. And Sam's got to be, he could potentially be looking at lethal here if we can get a Balthier and start doing some haste effects. But even without that, he can easily put him to 6. So he can turn the Thunder Drake into a forward, and he can block one of the attacks, which is nice. Although, which is maybe what you do right here. Yeah. Turn it into a forward, attempt to block. Pinello probably reduce it by 3. Tamajo, oh man, the Thunder Drake's not even going to be enough. He'll stop the attack, but he can't even kill the Kites. Although, no, we can buff it with the Sarah if we want. Yeah, so what happened is Pinello's going to reduce the Thunder Drake by 3 to put it to 3,000. Tomaj will reduce it by another 1 to reduce it to 2,000. Sarah will increase its power by 1,000, so it'll be 3,000 versus Kites is 3,000. And it looks like HoodsClaw may be trying to do even more shenanigans. Maybe not, or so you just let the Kites go. You could always just flicker it right now. Gonna use Althea, so Althea lets you... Althea, you dull her. You choose a forward or a character you control, and you return it to your hand with Althea. So he doesn't want the Kites to die. He's going to let it bounce back. Here comes Pinello. You 100% block this again with Sam. You have no reason not to block this attack. Probably he's going to go in with the Vaughn, but you just... So the thing is, this Thunder Drake, its effect is that when it becomes a forward, it dies at the end of that turn anyway. So there's no reason not to block because you're going to lose it regardless. And if you'd let that through, he potentially might not have attacked with Vaughn. So, oh man, he's using the Philo special. I don't remember what that's called, but if I'm correct, it gives a Sky Pirate forward Brave, and it can attack twice. So he did have potential lethal. There is a White Mage backup, and there is a Famfrit. Nice. Pretty good EX burst. So he'll have to select either the Pinello or the Vaughn to get rid of it. He can't respond to this either, so even if he has some kind of tricks, you're not allowed to respond to EX burst, so he will be losing one of those forwards. There goes Pinello. If he hadn't used the Pinello effect yet, that's pretty big. He probably thought he was going to be able to get it later, but Famfrit said no to that. Of course, he could very well just have another one, but... Cuchulain. Althea's back. Going to reactivate Fran. There's another Kites. Okay. Sam's on 5, but he held on. If he can do something to really pull the game back here, he might have a shot, but he needs like 2 Famfrits here, or 2 Atomos. He needs one to bait out the Kites trigger, and then another one on the stack to actually lose the Vaughn. Exodus. Okay, very interesting. So he's going to bait out the kites. So presumably what he'll say, what Exodus does, it says you declare a number and your opponent declares a number, and all forwards of that cost break. So what he probably did was he declared 6 or 1, and then HoodsClaw used the kites effect. He can remove kites from the game again to basically flicker one of the Sky Pirates. So presumably he'll choose Vaughn. Did he already resolve it, or are they still deciding? Oh, he was deciding. Interesting. So he called 6, and he actually just let the Vaughn go. Very interesting. He didn't decide to save him. He may have another one in hand. He may say, "Nah, I'm not worried about that." A Balthier here, I think, just ends the game. So Sam is in a real tight spot. Oh man, oh man. Yeah, there's Balthier. That is exactly what Sam did not want to see. I hope he's got an answer to this. I guess Exodus. Does that even stop him? I don't think there's a burst that saves him. Is this it? Is this the game? Is HoodsClaw going on? He's going to dull 2 Sky Pirates. Yep, he dulls 2 Sky Pirates to give either Balthier or Pinello haste. And that's the game. Sam didn't have an answer to it. Man, oh man, these top cut matches have just been these one-sided stomps. I mean, that first match was pretty good. Sam actually at least kind of pushed him a little, and HoodsClaw just built up the aggro. But there you go. SamPrime, our champion from last season, he's done for. So, folks, that was it. We will see you next time. Take care.